Hey there guys, a little bit later in this video we're going to be going to the EX stage for War of the Visions and getting a clear on that. But before we get to that, I wanted to talk briefly about something that's going on the global server this week. So as we saw in the news, we're getting the upgrades for Doma Samurai Cyan and Dark Fina Warrior's Prayer. As it turns out, they do have their crown upgrades, but it also seems that the silver crown stages for these units has been cut entirely. It may be added to the game in the future, which is also a bad scenario. I'll talk more about that in a moment. But yeah, so we have these unit upgrades, and they now cost gold crowns instead of silver crowns. You know, we were expecting them to get their silver crowns and the stages to go along with them. There's two different boss battles that gives you the silver crowns. But on global, these have been changed to only available through gold crowns. And that's really unfortunate. And I'll explain why I feel like that's kind of a problem. Now, you may, for example, have a relatively large stockpile of gold crowns as like a veteran player. If you've been playing since the start of crowns and you've gotten every single one and you never spent a gold crown, I think you should have somewhere in the area of 50 gold crowns approximately, if you've never spent one and you've gotten every single one. And that sounds like a lot, and you might be saying, well, just spend, 8 or whatever gold crowns and upgrade these units. You should have a lot. The problem is gold crowns are a retired resource. You no longer get gold crowns in the game. The only source that I'm aware of, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the only way you can get gold crowns these days is by spending 10 tokens from a summon banner in the summon shop. Meaning you need to spend something like 40,000 lapis, approximately depending on the banner more or less, but around 40,000 lapis to get 10 summon tokens, and you could buy 1 crown for that. And that's basically it. Not to mention that means you're skipping the unit fragments in the shop if you do that, which is pretty terrible. But that's pretty much the only way to get gold crowns these days. Gold crowns are no longer used in the JP server. They have retired them and replaced them with silver crowns, which you get every single time a unit gets upgraded. They get silver crowns, and that's how you do it these days. Now, the problem with Gumi or Global or Square, whoever it is that made this call, the problem with them going back to gold crowns is they aren't adding a way to get them in return. So if you're a veteran player that, for example, has been here since day one, you've got every single crown, you haven't spent that many, you've probably got 20, 30, 40, etc. crowns in the bank, and you might think this is no big deal. This is a really big deal for newer players. For example, if a player recently joined the game during the anniversary, the big anniversary, we just had it had a campaign to get new players, etc. How are they going to get gold crowns? Let's say they pulled their Dark Fina, they're trying to build a dark party, maybe they got Sephiroth and Ibarra, and they're like, I'm going to go for a dark party. And they've got Warrior's Prayer Dark Fina, and they want to upgrade her field. It costs gold crowns now. There is no fight to give you those gold crowns. All those old gold crown stages are gone. There's no way for this new player to obtain gold crowns to upgrade their Fina. And that's the core of the major problem, is new players just can't upgrade these units. Or another problem is for the veteran players. For example, let's say you're a player that does have a stockpile of like 40 gold crowns just sitting there not being used, and you might think, well, no big deal, I'll use 8 crowns on these units, I've still got 32 remaining. Well, what if this becomes the normal going forward? Let's say next week, 2 more units that were supposed to have freely obtainable silver crowns instead are converted to gold crowns. Well, now you're down to like 24 gold crowns remaining. What about the next week? Now you're down to only 16 gold crowns remaining. You see what I'm saying? So after like a month of this being a thing, you're out of crowns because you are not getting any more coming in. They're gone. And if, you know, the global version was going to be changing things back to gold crowns as they are here, you would expect them to add a way to get gold crowns. And now, as far as I can tell, that hasn't happened. There's no way to get gold crowns. So either you've just got weeks and weeks of gold crowns in the bank and you can upgrade these units, or you just can't. If you're a newer player, or if you're a player that has upgraded everyone and you don't have a stockpile of 8 just waiting around, you just miss out. You can't upgrade the units. Yeah. So that's a very questionable decision. I don't understand why they're doing that. Now, like I mentioned earlier, maybe it's possible they're going to add the Silver Crown fights next week, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. That is almost worse than what we're currently at, because that means they didn't mention anything in the news. They didn't say the silver fights are coming later, so just hold off. That means anyone that, for example, really wants to upgrade their Dark Thena's field for a dark party or something, if they do it today, and then, for example, if the Silver Crown fights are added next week or something, well, why wasn't that announced? So I'm kind of doubtful that the Silver Crown fights are like just delayed and coming later, because that means people would be spending their gold crowns today and then just regretting it in a week or two when the Silver Crown fights may or may not be added. I would assume that the Silver Crown fights are just not coming. I could be wrong here. That's a prediction. But either way, even if they are coming later, there was no notice about it, nothing in the news, and that would be pretty terrible to troll your players by making them spend 8 gold crowns and then adding silvers in the future weeks. But who knows? Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. I really hope this does not become the standard, where they just remove silver crowns and expect you to use golds. Because again, you're going to run out of golds very quickly at 4 units a pop. And some units, for example, Cyan, Cyan, I already know people are going to like, who cares? He's terrible even after crown. You're completely right. Cyan is bad. But Dark Thena's crowns are pretty relevant. They make her field a lot better. It goes from 30 to 40%, which sounds low, but when you're doing, ranked content, every single percent matters, trust me. So that's a pretty bad nerf to make hers, unavailable. And like I said, we're not getting any gold crowns coming in. So if, Global was going to do this, I would have expected them to mail us 8 gold crowns, or put 8 gold crowns in the MOG event, or put 8 gold crowns in a raid, or a way to do this. Because again, the person hurt the most by this is newer players, because they just don't have a way to get gold crowns. Anyway, I've kind of made my point. We're now going to cut the video and go to the EX stage, which should be simple. See you in a moment. Alright guys, we're now going to go to King of the Stags level 3 and get a simple clear. You can take anything, so if you don't want to deal with the mission, just take your favorite OTK team. But War of the Visions only, so let's get in here and give it a go. We're just going to grab an Elena, because she is War of the Visions. And this is the party we're going to go with. I don't think anyone here has a leader skill. Yep, because Global doesn't add leader skills to Global exclusives. So here's the party we're going to use. They're all War of the Visions, Brave Exvius. So like Elena, Sylvie, Esther, that's kind of all that really matters. And then the new units. So what we're going to do is Sylvie is going to Bolt Egg. We're going to defense for Mirage. And then we're going to start ramping some Thunder. Eileen can just guard just here because it's a bonus unit. We can use the Breaker Materia with Medina. And then Esther can do some setup along with Elena. So Elena will Brilliance and double bolting. Let's see, Esther will Brilliance and double bolting. And we'll go ahead and chain this up just to deal a little bit of damage here. Alright, so this is going to be 5 AoE physicals this turn, and then a single target physical. So make sure someone is evade provoking, and we're going to AoE Oh wow, it has accuracy, I didn't realize that. Well, whatever, who cares? I guess bulk up your provoker. My Sylvie is mostly naked. So now we're going to go ahead and do the LB with you. We'll LB you. We'll just support chain with you. You can guard and then we'll just again chain it up with you. This turn is going to be a single target physical, so we'll go ahead and chain this up. And that, well, is the end of the boss. Okay, there it is. So that was a pretty janky team. Missions were no items, no continues, Brave Exvius, War of the Visions only. So the team we used was Eileen, literally just a support chainer. I couldn't find an Esther friend. 2 Esthers would have been way better. There it is. Medina, Obsidian Bracer, Breaker Materia, literally only here because she has the War of the Visions Brave Exvius tag. Paladin Sylvie in the form, I thought I gave her 100% evasion. I did. I guess evasion doesn't work, so give her bulk. I didn't bulk her up because I didn't think it mattered. My mistake. Even basically naked, she provoked it just fine. So there you go. She's here for the buffing. Esther, I didn't use any Clash of Wills gear, so there we go. Killers, and then I did use a good card, so, you know, yay on that. But I didn't use any Clash gear. I probably shouldn't have used that card. That was way overkill. Max Human, Maxed LB. Here's my Elena. Again, no Clash of Wills gear. Not budget or anything, but just no Clash of Wills gear. So there we go. And again, I did use a very high-end card, so I kind of went a little heavy on the cards. Maxed Human Killer, and then I gave her a double chain cap with Chip of Stones and then Wish Granting Demon. And here's the friend. I didn't even look at the friend. The friend is apparently using katanas, not a sword. Big question mark there. Oh, he's built. This friend is built for the Morgana trial. Okay, no. This friend is definitely built for the Morgana trial, and obviously had gear removed. I just grabbed the first friend that I saw. I didn't even look at the friend. So, at the very least, were they maxed on killer? They were maxed on human killer. But whatever, as you saw, it worked totally fine. So who cares? Yeah, not that hard. So that's why I'm not really worried too much about this fight, trying to make like a big, super detailed guide. So 5 AoE physicals on turn 1, then a single target physical, which apparently can't be evaded. And then turn 2 is also a single target physical. Again, just bulk up your provoker, and then hopefully by turn 3 you kill the boss. And yeah, so, you know, Esther and Elena, there it is, the friend, big sad face on the naked gear slots. But whatever. And that's the content for the week. So we had skipped crown battles and a super easy weapon quest. That's it. See you in a bit.